Every morning in the wild, a gazelle awakens. One thing is for sure for the gazelle that day, as every other. She must run faster than the fastest lion. If she cannot, she will be killed and eaten. Every morning, a lion awakens. For the lion too, one thing is certain. This day and every day, he must run faster than the slowest gazelle. Whether fate names you a gazelle or a lion is of no consequence. It is enough to know that with the rising of the sun, you must run, and you must run faster than the day before for the rest of your days, or you will die. We all have to run the race of life.
Our planet is a place of great diversity, from the sparse expanse of desert to the rich layers of rainforest. The animals that live here come in every shape and size. Each has adapted to survive in a unique way. The elite have reached enormous proportions. They use brute force to survive. But they need other tricks. Some have added weapons, armor, and speed. Others have intelligence, agility, and a strong family bond. A few have developed one feature to the limit, but all must fight every day to survive. All must run the race of life. Our story is set in the cradle of humanity, a vast continent that straddles the equator and reaches beyond the tropics. A land of extremes, with places so dry it hasn't rained for years, and tropical storms that never seem to stop. Where the air is warm and wet all through the year. And everything grows continuously, from the tallest trees to bushes, grasses, and mosses. Africa, land of dense jungles and enormous grassy plains. Home of the giants, the largest land animals on Earth, using the non-stop food supply to survive. Vast herds constantly on the move, always on the lookout for enough food and water to get through the day. They need to spend most of their time drinking, roaming, and grazing in a constant struggle to support their large bodies. Most of these herbivores are peaceful animals, but one of them has a dark and dangerous secret. He lives in the rivers and waterholes of Africa. Every animal needs water to survive, so this is where the race of life is at its most fierce. All who live here must evade hidden predators. The river provides food, drink, and bathing. It is a giver of life. And a place of death. Our star animal must share his home with the crocodile. Unlike the great herds who cross every year, he cannot move away to the distant grassy plains. The hippopotamus. Hippos can weigh as much as 2 tons. They have survived in Africa for over 8 million years. These peaceful-looking animals have a fierce reputation. Their skin releases an alarming red fluid. It's only a form of sunscreen, but people used to think that hippos sweat blood. The facts might have been wrong, but the reputation is well-founded. The injuries and scars on their skin bear witness to the daily battles facing these animals in their race of life. Hippos will fight ferociously for their territory. A typical group is mostly females and they're young. And one large, fierce male. He's perfectly adapted to the water. When he dives, his nostrils close automatically, but he can still see and hear extremely well. And he can stay underwater for up to 6 minutes. Hippos can't swim, but they bounce along the riverbed, coming up for air every few minutes. Our leader of the pod has about 10 females to look after. It's a full-time, stressful job, and some bulls have to protect pods with as many as 100 animals. This is when the dark side of the hippo comes out. Hippos will defend their territory against any intruders, including humans. Believe it or not, they kill more people than lions, leopards, and buffalo combined. But the main enemy of our dominant male is other males. He will allow small males to live in the pod as long as they are submissive. But with other large bulls, the fight is on. These teeth are formidable, like clubs with swords rolled into one. They are purely there for fighting and can grow to ½ a meter long. And they never stop growing. The combatant's jaws can hinge open to a full 180 degrees. Most animals draw blood in these battles, and our bull is in danger of serious injury, or worse. He has survived to protect his pod for another day. His skin is tough, but he will need some time to recover before taking on another intruder. For a lion, attacking a full-grown, healthy animal is too risky. But hippos are vulnerable when they're out of the water, and sometimes a pride of lions will take the risk. Each must be faster, stronger, fitter to win. Today, the lions have won, and one hippo has lost the race of life. The African savannah is the stage for thousands of battles every day. The great herds are on the search for food. The predators are on the hunt for them. One animal appears best equipped to survive. And he has. The rhinoceros is built like a tank. And he's been around for over 6 million years. Despite their fierce appearance, rhinos are not hunters, but peaceful grazers. Rhinos are frantically running the race of life every day against starvation, other rhinos, and poachers. Their deadly horns are made of the same tissue as fingernails. They contain no blood vessels and no nerves, so if they're damaged in a fight, they feel no pain. The horn on this male can grow to a lethal 1.5 meters in length. He usually lives alone and fears almost no predator, except for one. The race of life for this rhino is against humans, poachers who kill for that magnificent horn. Sadly, rhino horn is worth more than its weight in gold, so these iconic animals are becoming a rare sight on the African plains. Female rhinos are more sociable than the males. These mothers are dedicated to their calves and look after them for 3 years. But their weakness is their eyesight. Rhinos are extremely nearsighted. To this herd, a man with a gun looks the same as a tree at only 15 meters away. The animals of the savannah gather round the ever-shrinking pools of water. A rhinoceros needs a lot of water. If he doesn't get a drink for 5 days, he will die. As the last pools grow smaller, the race of life is on. Only the animals who can stay close to the water will make it until the rains return. It's getting hotter and drier. Life has become very hard. Things are desperate. The rhino will take on anyone to preserve his spot by the water. And so this grumpy giant makes a stand to live another day in the unforgiving climate of the African plains. The biggest animal walking the earth today can be heard from hundreds of kilometers away. The African elephant. Twice the size of their Indian cousins, African elephants are easily recognized by their larger ears. These imperious animals have been roaming the plains of Africa for 3 to 4 million years. African elephants travel in families of mothers and young. They must keep moving to find enough food to survive. The head of the herd is a grand old female, the matriarch. The herd has traveled over 100 kilometers. After a grueling trek, the elephants come across fresh grass. The elephant's trunk is not just a long nose, it's also a very agile top lip, capable of great strength and great sensitivity. She can use her trunk to touch, grab, and drink, as well as breathe and smell. Her huge molars are designed for grinding massive quantities of grass and leaves. Surviving the African heat is a challenge every day. The answer is a shower. A nice coating of dust will keep the elephant cool, but it also protects her skin from insects and other pests. When food is scarce, the herd must take drastic action. This is the only way to reach those tasty new leaves at the top of the tree. But the price is high, as the elephant is destroying her own food source. The elephant's multi-purpose trunk contains over 40,000 muscles, and she can use it to lift over 300 kilos. But she also needs it for affection, using her trunk to cuddle other animals in the group or to check that her family members are okay. Elephants are thick-skinned. Even on their face, the skin is 2.5 centimeters thick. But they are gentle animals, forming family bonds that last until death. Life is not so easy for a bull elephant looking for a mate. Only the biggest and strongest will be allowed to father a baby. Most bulls are over 25 years old before they are big enough to win one of these battles. But even the largest land animal in the world must run the race of life. For water, for food, and even sometimes against predators. A pride of lions is a danger to even a full-grown elephant if he becomes old or weak. This herd has not had a drink in 2 days. They followed the distant sound of thunder and victory. Water at last. You can almost see the joy on their faces as they suck up a cool, refreshing drink. The other animals share in this new lease of life. It's been a struggle to get here, but now it's time to celebrate. The herd will spend hours splashing, playing, and feeling good to be alive. They can live to 70 years old, which gives them plenty of time to teach the young ones everything they've learned. They also seem to feel compassion. When an animal dies, the family shows genuine signs of grief. These magnificent giants can use brute force or intelligence to win the race of life. There's almost something human about that. The most human-like animal of all lives beyond the African plains. The rain-drenched mountains of the tropics are draped with dense jungles. It's warm and wet, and there's a constant supply of leaves, shoots, and fruit. This is the home of a shy creature who has almost lost the race of life. Gorillas. Intelligent, playful, and critically in danger of being wiped out. The head of the family is keeping an eye out for the youngster. This family lives in the forests of Rwanda, and they are lucky to be alive. In 1981, only 254 gorillas remained here. Most have been killed by poachers. Park guards are now well armed to protect the gorillas. They aim to stop a practice that goes back centuries. Gorillas are among the closest living relatives to humans. Only 2% of their DNA is different from ours. The young gorillas in the family quickly learn to climb so they can find food and escape danger. They also fit in plenty of time for fun. Gorillas eat over 140 different kinds of plants. The dominant male is called the silverback. He will protect his troop of females and their young for life. Young males are welcome to stay in the troop as long as they do not challenge the silverback. This baby is completely dependent on his mother. He will start crawling at 2 months old, but won't go far from her side until he's aged 3 or 4 years. As he grows up, he will have the entire troop to look out for him. They will fight off predators and teach him skills for survival. He quickly learns the tops of the trees are the best place to find fruit and juicy young leaves. Gorillas live up to 40 years. When the silverback becomes old, this little guy may be the one to challenge him, but that is over 10 years away. In the meantime, his family will only win their race of life if humans continue to defend them and allow gorilla numbers to continue to grow. The tallest animal on Earth is also a great African herbivore. As the sun greets a new day, the race of life on the savannah is about to begin. Tens of thousands of animals compete every day to find enough grasses and leaves to eat. They roam in large numbers for safety, as there are many predators lying in wait. The Thompson's gazelle sounds the alert. The great herds break into a run, yet the predator runs too, a cheetah. But cheetahs tire quickly, and if they keep running, the herds will win the race of life today. But one animal has an advantage. She can watch out for danger from a great height. The giraffe. This graceful animal can be as tall as 6 meters. Her neck makes up a third of this height. They have acute hearing and large eyes with good all-round vision. They can even see in color. Other animals graze close to giraffes to make use of their predator early warning system. Despite his size, this giraffe can be hard for predators to see. His contrasting pattern breaks up the outline of his body. Like all giraffes, this one does not have a permanent group. He mixes with other giraffes when it suits and often moves on to join other groups. Even mothers and their young only stay together for a few months. But our male still has to compete for the right to mate. He must fight a unique and brutal battle. All males have more pronounced horns as part of their weaponry. The giraffe's coat is like a fingerprint. Every individual has a unique pattern. But our giraffe has one more huge advantage when it comes to competing with other herbivores on the African savannah. He can reach the food that other animals cannot. Giraffes nibble the leaves from the tops of trees. Their mouths and tongues are specially adapted to cope with the large thorns produced by some of these trees. But they do have to fight to survive the king of the African predators. The big male has seen the lion. He is not sure if the lions will attack. But then the giraffes take flight. The race of life is on. Giraffes can run over 50 kilometers an hour. Lions can run at 80. But a well-placed kick to the lion can be a death sentence. If injured, the predator will be unable to hunt and will eventually die. Sometimes a giraffe, weakened by age or injury, will lose. Every day on the African savannah, only the fittest survive the race of life. For the great herbivores, every day brings a new battle. Whether it's the fight against predators, the search for food, or just surviving the dramatic climate, they have to keep moving to stay alive. Hippo, rhino, elephant, gorilla, or giraffe. They use their size, strength, and intelligence to keep them ahead of the game in the African race of life.
Every morning in the wild, a gazelle awakens. One thing is for sure for the gazelle that day, as every other. She must run faster than the fastest lion. If she cannot, she will be killed and eaten. Every morning, a lion awakens. For the lion too, one thing is certain. This day and every day, he must run faster than the slowest gazelle. Whether fate names you a gazelle or a lion is of no consequence. It is enough to know that with the rising of the sun, you must run, and you must run faster than the day before for the rest of your days, or you will die. We all have to run the race of life.
To survive in the wild, you have to fight. The winner might be the biggest, but with some animals, it might be the most agile or the most curious. To survive as a wolf, you need teamwork, speed, and intelligence. To win the battles on the African plains, it's the biggest set of horns. And to be the top carnivore in this world, you need big teeth and a fierce temperament. Keeping constantly on the move is just one way to win the race of life. All across the world, there is another prevailing skill for staying alive. It is a skill and an art that works in every ecosphere, from the jungle to the open sea. The animals who are masters of this art are often top of the food chain. They get first access to food and have almost no natural predators. They are strong survivors, from the icy lands of the Arctic to the sun-baked grasses of the equator. They can be found on isolated islands, cut off from the rest of the world, and among the crowded national parks of Africa. These animals are supremely designed for fighting. From the dogs of the sea to wolves, bears, and buffalo, they are the great warriors in the race of life. The mountains of America, Asia, and Europe are home to a giant mammal with a fierce nature. He hunts by day in the forests and rivers. His diet includes meat, berries, nuts, and fish. Full-grown males can reach 750 kilos in weight. They have large teeth and an exceptional sense of smell. Some species come to a special place at a special time every year. Bears. This one has come to the river for an event that tests the athletic skills of predator and prey to their limits. Bears are distantly related to dogs, but they have long bodies, stocky legs, and they're much, much bigger. This river is a major highway for a very special fish. Every year, Pacific salmon race along these waters to breed. They have to leap enormous hurdles and avoid being eaten by bears. These salmon have been at sea for 2 years. Now they're returning upriver to where they were born. This adult grizzly bear has been practicing her fishing techniques for several seasons. Victory. Despite the huge quantity of fish, catching a slippery salmon is a major challenge. The salmon run is at its peak in June and July, the Northern Hemisphere summer. These fish are an essential protein source for the bear and her family. When the weather changes, there will be almost no food around. She needs to eat as much as she can if she's going to live through the long and icy northern winter. This is a race to the death for fish and bear. Only the fastest and strongest salmon will get past the line of bears. And only the bears who pack in lots of protein will be strong enough to survive when the snow closes in. Bears start training to be warriors from almost the day they are born. These 2 cubs spend most of their waking hours playing. But they are developing the skills they need to be good fighters. They will need to win many fights if they are going to survive as adults. Bears don't just fight for food. They fight to defend territory and to win a mate. They also fight to protect their families. This young grizzly male is looking for his own territory. Bears are not very sociable. When they're not breeding, they usually live alone. But this territory has already been claimed. This time, the fight between the 2 bears is serious. If you have no territory, you have no food. In the wild, injury is as good as a death sentence. The new bear is too small. He's not strong enough to win this time. The dominant bear has won the race of life today. The younger bear must come back when he's big enough to take on this dominant male. This adult female has just made a major kill, and she's not about to share it. A wolf has picked up the scent of the kill. He's also hungry. The wolf is wary as he approaches the carcass. He's no match for the size and strength of the bear. The wolf must be very hungry. He could easily be killed in a conflict. Bears do not fear any other animal. They are apex predators. If the bear was injured, then the wolf might stand a chance. But not today. Even a pack of wolves would think twice before taking on a full-grown grizzly. Like all her kind, she has become a well-trained warrior. She will need to fight every day to survive alone. Competition is tough where the land meets the sea. Food can be plentiful, but that attracts a whole host of predators, and somewhere safe to live is often hard to find. Creatures who choose to live here must learn to fight for their share. Sea lions are perfectly adapted to live in this boundary zone, hunting in the water and resting on dry land. They live in vast groups comprising males and females, young and old. Some colonies have over 1,000 individuals. To hold all this territory, sea lions have become intelligent and fierce fighters. There are 7 different species of sea lion. Despite their adaptation for life in the sea, they all have a fur coat and small ears. This adult female is off on a hunt. Once in the water, she's really in her element. She's capable of speeds of up to 40 kilometers an hour. And she can dive down 250 meters. She's looking for a tasty squid, an octopus, or maybe some herring or hake. It's party time. Now they've been fed, it's time to head for home. Sea lions have two major predators who won't be far away: sharks and orcas. So they're racing back to the beach for their own safety. Back at base, the race of life is not over, especially for the bulls. It's breeding season, and only the best fighters will be given the chance to mate. The smaller bull is an intruder. The larger sea lion is fighting to maintain his role as the dominant male. This one has already been in a fight, but he's still up for more. Bull sea lions fight each other only during breeding season. For the rest of the time, they live together peacefully with the colony. Most of the sea lions in the colony have now returned from the hunt. But the beach is not as safe as it looks. A pod of orcas have come for dinner, and they enjoy eating sea lion pups. The sea lions flee for the shallows. The pup was too slow, and he has lost his race of life today. No one knows for sure why the whales throw the pups around, perhaps to stun them, or maybe even as a game. The orcas visit this beach every year during sea lion breeding season. It's a perfectly balanced fight for survival. Once the pups get too big, the orcas will leave, and enough sea lions will survive to sustain the colony in its communal race of life. One warrior has played more parts in myths and legends than any other. He's portrayed as a dark creature of the forest, a figure of nightmares and horror stories. He hunts in packs and howls at the moon. Animals take flight when they sense his approach. The wolf. Wolves have lived close to humans for almost 15,000 years. They came close to our campfires in prehistoric times and have served us as hunters, guardians, and companions ever since. The wolf is the direct ancestor of all our domestic dogs. He's intelligent, social, and a very impressive fighter. Life is tough on the Arctic tundra. There's limited sunlight, not much warmth, and very little food. Your chance of survival is increased if you work as a team. It's springtime. The snow is clearing, and the short growing season is beginning. The reindeer calves have just been born. This mother is nervous. She's seen the wolves. The reindeer break into a run. The pack of wolves is hot on their heels. The Arctic race of life is on. A calf has broken away. The wolves are faster, but the reindeer have more stamina. The she-wolf changes track. Her partner cuts off the calf. It's all over in seconds. The slowest reindeer is down. The wolves have been rewarded for their speed and teamwork. The leader of the pack gets to eat first. This behavior reinforces his place at the top of the wolf hierarchy. His mate will eat next, then the rest of the pack. Wolves have been wiped out in much of Europe and the USA, but they are now being reintroduced in some places with remarkable results. The wolf is the natural predator for large herbivores like elk and deer. When the wolves return to the forest, herbivore numbers are halved. This reduces grazing pressure on the young trees and shrubs. The forest blooms into life. This allows other animals to return, including beavers and foxes. So, despite his fearful reputation, the wolf helps every plant and animal in the forest be in balance so they can run their race of life. This white-tailed deer mother has picked up the smell of the wolf pack. She will fight to protect her fawn. The stag moves in to help. But they're safe today. The pack have already made their kill. Wolves guzzle their meat quickly. They go for the soft, highly nutritious parts first. Heart, stomach, and kidneys. Then they feast on the muscle. Excitement over the kill can bring out the warrior instinct. This pack comprises a mother and father, their pups, and last year's offspring. They're one close family. So although the fighting looks fierce, no one will get seriously hurt. The family that hunts together, eats, and fights together. And this wolf family is winning its warrior race of life together. On a remote island off an island continent lives a bizarre forest warrior. He has strong jaws and sharp teeth and likes to hunt under the cover of darkness. He has become an icon of the ancient forests and valleys, a survivor on this last outpost of wilderness. This is the world's largest marsupial carnivore. He roams for up to 20 kilometers in the search for food and makes his home in holes in the ground. He usually lives alone, but is often seen near others of his kind when there's food or shelter around. And he will use almost any excuse to fight. This is the Tasmanian devil. They used to roam across the entire continent of Australia until humans wiped them out. Now they are clinging to survival on the island of Tasmania. They're not territorial, but devils will guard almost anything. Devil jaws are an amazing weapon. With teeth like hyenas and a bite force that is the strongest in the animal kingdom. Fighting seems to be their favorite pastime. Tasmanian devils enjoy many kinds of meat, from fresh kills to decaying carcasses. These feisty little balls of muscle are the true warriors of the marsupial world. The Tasmanian devil is a truly unique animal. He is the size of a small dog, but his large head and tail make up half his length. The mountains and valleys of Tasmania echo with blood-curdling screams of the devil. This island is famous for its untouched wilderness and primeval forests. A perfect hiding place for an animal on the edge of extinction. This devil can smell an intruder. His jaw can open as wide as 80 degrees, and his bite is capable of crushing bones. His bite is so strong, he can even bite through pieces of thick metal wire. This national park has one of the largest groups of Tasmanian devils. This male can smell blood. It could be a carcass or an injured animal. His large clumps of whiskers help him find his way around in the dark, but they are also part of his adaptation as a warrior. Tassie Devil's whiskers help him precisely locate the face of his opponent. These guys might look stocky and clumsy, but they are precision fighters. Most devils have scars around their faces from many encounters like these. The male has found what he was looking for, a wallaby carcass. He shows no caution as he goes straight for the food. Devils are not fussy eaters. This guy will eat a range of meat, from birds, fish, and reptiles, as well as vegetation and fruit. But in Devil Land, nothing comes without a fight. A crazy pattern of fighting and eating seems to be normal table manners for the Tasmanian devil. They very rarely fight to the death, but these stoushes enable a hierarchy among the devil community. Our big male is top devil today. The search for food among these mountains and lakes can be hard work. Devils can travel long distances at speeds of 10 kilometers an hour. They are the marathon runners of the Tasmanian wilderness. Sometimes they stop and start as they prepare for an ambush. This female can hear other devil calls. Another carcass. This time, there are 5 devils fighting for a share of the meal. Believe it or not, this is a social event. The fierce noises advertise the fact there's a meal to be had to other devils. The amount of noise indicates the size of the carcass. Fights like this keep the animals in the peak of fitness. Muscles, jaws, and high-speed reactions are constantly pushed to their limits. Our female is told to push off, but she won't take no for an answer. If she's not prepared to do battle to eat, then she will not survive. When devils attend these eating frenzies, they are communicating in a complex language. They have 20 different physical postures and 11 different vocal sounds. It might look brutal, but Tasmanian devils are sophisticated fighters with rules and manners. They are complex warriors in the marsupial race of life. One of the most dangerous animals in Africa is famous for his size. He's a menacing presence on the plains and grasslands. He lives among the great herds of herbivores and is most feared for his unpredictable nature. This fierce warrior kills more people every year than lions or leopards, but his main diet is grass. He hides among the tall grasses and reeds, ready to attack at any moment. The Cape buffalo. These impressive animals can stand 1.5 meters tall and weigh nearly a ton. But the reason for their deadly reputation is on their heads. Both males and females have a formidable set of horns. These horns are fused across the base, so they act as sword and shield. Cape buffalo are a species unto themselves, and they stand alone as the greatest herbivore warrior on the planet. This herd is mostly made up of related females and their young. There is one dominant male who can be recognized by the size of his horns. On the fringes of the herd are the young males. They waste no time getting into training with those horns. They start with play fights. Then the sparring becomes a jousting match to establish a hierarchy. Buffalo have only 3 main enemies: lions, humans, and the African dry season. They must join the great race of life across the plains to find fresh grazing lands and water. These migrating herds can contain over 2,000 buffalo. They join the vast numbers of wildebeest, zebra, and antelope in the long march to greener pastures. The November rain is what drives these animals to move. The Serengeti Plains near the Ngorongoro crater become rich with new growth grass. But by May, the grass is all grazed out, and the herds move north towards Kenya's Masai Mara. This is the greatest concentration of animal life on the planet, a true wonder of the natural world. Where there are lots of animals, there are also lots of predators. The only animal that will take on an adult buffalo is the lion. She must be very hungry. She's risking her life by attacking something so large and dangerous. The buffalo has spotted her. The lioness persists. A kick from the buffalo could be a deadly blow. The buffalo must get rid of her attacker before it gets to her throat. The lioness goes straight for the neck. She's done it. This pride of lions have gone for a safer target, a buffalo calf. But they are going to have to fight off a very angry mother. This is where those giant horns come in handy. And this is how buffalo kill. The lioness has pushed it far enough. She's not happy, but the buffalo and her calf have won their race of life today. The entire herd is now alerted. They don't want the lions hanging around. It's not worth the risk. The lions back off. They will have to find their meal elsewhere. The buffalo have not only protected themselves, they have protected their young. In this way, the entire herd of bovine warriors wins their race of life. Physical strength has always been a primary force for selecting the animals that will survive to pass on their genes. The great warriors of the wild have become large and strong as a result. From the bears and wolves of the northern forests to the warriors of the sea lions. The stocky Tasmanian devil is pound for pound as tough as an African buffalo. They have each finely tuned their skills to be winners in the warrior race of life.
Every morning in the wild, a gazelle awakens. One thing is for sure for the gazelle that day, as every other. She must run faster than the fastest lion. If she cannot, she will be killed and eaten. Every morning, a lion awakens. For the lion too, one thing is certain. This day and every day, he must run faster than the slowest gazelle. Whether fate names you a gazelle or a lion is of no consequence. It is enough to know that with the rising of the sun, you must run, and you must run faster than the day before for the rest of your days, or you will die. We all have to run the race of life.
The need for speed is second nature to a very special group of animals. Every organ, every muscle, every bone is designed for a life in the fast lane. Some of these animals are hunters. Others are the hunted. Their supreme athletic ability is what keeps them alive every day. Many move in vast numbers, a sea of speeding bodies. Some supreme sprinters are birds. What they have lost in their wings, they make up for with their incredible legs and amazing endurance. Not all athletes of the animal world are large. One 8-legged high-speed mover is more like a racing car than a spider. Some creatures roll, some run. But one of the best of them all bounces. With strong muscles and strong legs, the leap is the most effective means to cover ground quickly. From big cats to antelope, from big birds to spiders. This is a high-octane fight to survive. The race of life for some is literally a race. To stay alive, they have to run the fastest. They have to keep running for the longest. and they must have some extra tricks. They must do it every day, many times a day, just to stay alive. And the best place for running is where there's lots of space. The vast savannas of Africa, the open prairies of America, and the great red deserts of Australia. Animals who have survived here have used countless generations to evolve their ability to run and run. Some have long legs, some have strong muscles, others have light bodies, or sheer force of will. The need to run has led to a huge range of sizes and shapes. But all have one thing that links them. To win their race of life, they must run like the wind. The gold medal sprinter in the race of life is way ahead of the rest. Every detail of his body is built for speed. The cheetah. These big cats live where competition for predator and prey is at its most intense. The African savannah, the greatest concentration of large animals on Earth. The herds here contain around 2.5 million wildebeest, zebra, and gazelles. And this is the big cat that can outrun them all. He is slim and light, with long legs built for sprinting. A lone male is hungry. He needs to eat about 3 kilos of food every day, and today he has been out of luck. Then a herd of Thompson's gazelle. The cheetah needs to get very close to the gazelles before he reveals himself. Creeping through the grass in silence. The cheetah is completely focused on his target. The gazelle senses something is wrong. The cheetah has no choice. The cheetah is out and running. He can accelerate to 75 kilometers an hour in less than 2 seconds. Soon, he reaches a top speed of 120. The gazelle is also fast, almost as fast as the cheetah. With competitors like these, the race of life is very close. But the fastest does not win. After less than a minute, the cheetah collapses. He cannot keep up his top speed for more than a minute. If he fails after then, the race is over. He has been taking 150 breaths per minute, and his body temperature has reached over 40 degrees. He may need half an hour to recover before he's ready to hunt again. The Thompson's gazelle has won another race of life. Cheetahs hunt by sight. They have a wide-angle field of view and extremely sharp vision. Even the cheetah's stunning eyeliner has a purpose. His black tear marks prevent reflected sunlight from getting into his eyes. The male is ready to try the hunt again. Camouflage allows him to get close to his prey. It's another Thompson's gazelle. He needs to get within 30 meters of the gazelle. Then he's off. The cheetah has an oversized heart and lungs, so he can effectively get oxygen into those high-powered muscles. Even his nostrils are bigger, so he can suck in more air. His flexible spine acts like a spring, adding energy with every bound. His long tail is a rudder, so he can make sharp turns in the chase. The odds for the gazelle are not good. The cheetah has a 50-50 chance of victory. firm bite on the neck suffocates the victim. The cheetah gets a meal. He lives to race another day. These cubs stand a high chance of being taken by bigger cats, like leopards and lions. The chance of these cubs making it to adulthood is around 50-50, but in some places it's even worse. In the densely populated Serengeti, only 1 in 10 cubs will survive to become adults. These young cheetahs have a lot to learn. The mother will remain with them to teach them everything she knows. The father takes no part in the child rearing. Neither animal seems to know what to do. Both must learn their race of life if they are to survive, but the cubs soon work it out. It's bad news for the young gazelle. After 18 months, the female leaves her cubs. Now it's up to them to run their own high-speed race of life. After the cheetah, the top 3 runners on the planet all belong to the same group. They have long legs, permanent horns, and highly tuned senses. And many have an incredible ability to jump. The antelope, one of the most successful herbivores on Earth. There are 91 different species, and they are very different. Antelopes range in size from over 2 tons to a delicate 1.5 kilos. One antelope lives in America, a few in Asia, but most live in Africa. The Serengeti Plains of East Africa are home to a colorful collection of antelope. The strangest looking of them all has the shaggy beard of a goat, the stripes of a zebra, and the build of a large cow. The wildebeest. She roams in massive herds for protection, but when attacked, she can sprint at over 60 kilometers an hour. But sometimes, all these companions can be a disadvantage. A herd this size will quickly graze away all the available grass. They need to keep eating, so they must face a dangerous migration in search of more food, which is excellent news for the Nile crocodile. Our female is anxious, but she knows safety in numbers is the key to getting across alive. Time to take the plunge. The wildebeest knows the more time she spends in the water, the greater the chance of being caught. Her luck runs out. The croc tries to drag her under so she will drown. This race of life is about strength and determination. She's done it. An incredible escape. But she must cross this river twice a year. If she's strong enough, fast enough, smart enough, she will win this race of life many more times to come. Meet the fussy eater of the plains, the topi. These gazelles have developed a long muzzle and sensitive lips to forage among the long grass for young new shoots. But there's a huge advantage to this picky eating habit. This topi gets so much water from his food, he does not need to drink. In a country where drought is common, he wins this race of life by not needing rivers and waterholes to survive. And when he needs to run, he can really run. Topis can flee from predators at 70 kilometers an hour. The movie star of the antelopes has played a leading role in almost every African wildlife film. He's handsome, sometimes the victim, and always the athlete. The Thompson's gazelle. They prefer to eat short grass, so they follow the large herbivores who remove the longer grass. they are born ready to run. But these graceful animals are the preferred prey of the cheetah. The cheetah can outrun the gazelle, so the situation looks hopeless for the prey. But the Tommy has a clever bag of escape tricks. Thompson's gazelles can turn faster than a cheetah. They can leap higher, and they can run for longer. Despite his delicate appearance, the Thompson's gazelle has an even chance of winning this race of life. The second fastest animal on 4 legs is the last of his kind, pronghorns. These beautiful herds were nearly wiped out when humans arrived in North America. They're not technically antelopes, as they have a different horn structure, but they fill the same ecological niche. And they can really run. These impressive animals can reach speeds over 80 kilometers an hour. And they're exceptional at endurance. The herd must migrate 500 kilometers every year to survive. Pronghorns are well equipped for running. They have a large windpipe, heart, and lungs. And they can outrun all the American predators, wolves, bobcats, and cougars. This is the supreme survivor of the American race of life. In the world of speed, only one animal comes close to the cheetah. He's been running the race of life on the African plains for 20 million years. And he's only got 2 legs. The ostrich. The world's biggest bird is not able to fly, but he can run like the wind. He might not look streamlined, but he's built for speed. Most birds have 4 toes. The ostrich has 2. Their feet have almost transformed into hooves. A hunter has caught the ostrich scent, a lioness. The only chance for the lioness to catch this male is ambush. But the ostrich has excellent eyesight and hearing. With that long neck, his head can be nearly 3 meters off the ground, a great lookout point. The lioness has so far not been spotted. She moves in closer. The ostrich senses something, a rustle in the grass. He sounds the alarm. The lioness breaks cover. Time for the ostrich to get moving. You have to be good to catch an ostrich. Too slow. The flock can get up to 90 kilometers an hour in seconds. The lioness is left with nothing to eat but dust. But even if she had caught this giant bird, she would have still had to fight hard. Those big, strong legs pack a powerful punch, and it would have been an excellent meal. Ostriches weigh over 100 kilos. Sustaining a body like this takes a lot of food. Ostriches eat fruit, seeds, and grass, but they will often take a grasshopper or other insect for some extra protein. The ostrich is the extreme of bird evolution. He may not be able to fly, but of all the birds, he runs the fastest race of life. Our next high-octane animal couldn't be more of a contrast to the others. He's only 20 millimeters long. He hides underground, and he has 8 legs. Those legs are pretty good for running. But when this little creature wants to pack on the speed, he does something very surprising. The golden wheel spider is the only creature in the world that actually turns itself into a wheel to get out of trouble. Golden wheels live among the hot sand dunes of Namibia in Africa. They do not build webs, so the only option is to go out hunting. This one is on the lookout for juicy insects. But it will be a challenging day. A pompilid wasp is looking for somewhere to lay her eggs. But not just anywhere. Somewhere safe from predators and close to a generous supply of food. The golden wheel spider. The wasp is trying to lay her egg inside the spider. If successful, she will bury the living spider, and her larva will hatch inside and eat the spider alive. But first, she must sting the spider. And the spider is not about to cooperate. He needs to get away, fast. The golden wheel tucks his legs into a wheel shape, and off he goes. He's speeding down the dune at 1 meter a second. His body is spinning at 20 times a second. It's a dizzying experience. But the wasp is left behind. She must find another victim for her living nursery. And the spider has escaped a gruesome death. Golden wheel spiders do have a venomous bite, but it is not harmful to humans. Their main defense is to hide in a deep burrow far from predatory wasps. The burrow might be 50 centimeters deep, so this spider has to shift a lot of sand. He will end up moving 80,000 times his body weight in order to build a safe home. The first stage of the dig is the most dangerous. The spider is too exposed. Here comes another pompilid wasp. But too slow. The spider is off again. This little drama plays out hundreds of times a day in the Namibian desert. Sometimes the wasp wins and has a chance to give life to her offspring. But today, the golden wheel spider has won again. He completes his silk-lined burrow and retreats to safety. This tiny marvel of the sand dunes will emerge again at nightfall to continue his high-speed race of life. The desert is home to another gold medal runner of the animal world, the Australian desert. This creature is custom created to survive the incredible heat of the red center and to cover its vast distances. The red kangaroo. Big reds are the kings of the outback world. A large male can be 1.8 meters tall. And he has a unique way of covering a lot of ground quickly. These animals are perfectly engineered running machines. Half their body weight is muscle. and most of it is around the pelvis area to power those enormous hind legs. Our kangaroo's bound is almost effortless. He is using less energy to breathe now than when he was standing still. He doesn't accelerate by bounding faster. He just increases the length of his leap. Amazingly, he can cover up to 8 meters in a single bound. He is running as fast as the desert wind at 70 kilometers an hour. He needs to move fast. The rains have failed and his food supply has dried up. It could be hundreds of kilometers to the next patch of green desert. He's traveling with his mob. 80% of these roos might be killed by the drought. Finally, food and water. But other animals are also after a meal. A single dingo won't attack a full-grown red kangaroo, but a hungry pack will give it a go. As the kangaroo speeds up, so do the dingoes. But the wild dogs have to move their legs faster and faster to keep up. The roo is cruising. He can keep this up for as long as it takes. The dogs quickly tire. The roo lives to leap again. Young kangaroos are more vulnerable, and danger is never far away. A wedge-tailed eagle is also hungry. 10% of the eagle's diet is kangaroo. She's very good at catching them. Out here, you have to learn to move fast at an early age. He may survive to have his own mob and pass on his genes. The kangaroo win again. The red kangaroo must run and run, but he is a spectacular winner in the race of life. At the top of the athletic table, the race of life is truly breathtaking. Animals faster than cars, more maneuverable than a gymnast, and with more clever moves than a dancer. These are the supreme athletes, perfectly evolved to win their race of life by running like the wind.